yeah, I don't know where to start. It has been a while since we have released a video. It is like mid-October. We have been really busy and it's really irked. I guess I don't know where to start with this video. Well, we're still here. We've been working on our small farm / homestead here in North Idaho. We've just been really busy and tired and just had some changes in our lives that they weren't bad, but just changes. Video editing got pushed to the back burner. We're still living the life, taking care of animals. Schedule changed about, I don't know, 3 months ago-ish. And the biggest change that came with that is his schedule drastically changed. Luke used to work 48 hours at a time and then he'd get time off. Now he's back to, you know, Monday to Friday. I think he's doing 410s now, Tuesday to Friday. And that was just a big adjustment for us. He hasn't worked a schedule like that in a really long time. And we've just been kind of getting used to that. What that meant for our channel though is Luke used to have 4 days to work on projects and film, and then I would just edit when I could, and I wasn't very good at that. And now Luke is working Monday to Friday, like I said, Tuesday to Friday, like the rest of us. So we only have time to do work now after we get home, but we live, you know, a ways from our jobs and the weekends. So stuff's still getting done, but it just, video editing took a back seat. So some months ago, I did a little poll on our YouTube channel and I just asked, what kind of videos would you like to see? Would you rather have, you know, these more longer, in-depth, edited, polished videos? And maybe we try to like actually finish a project in a video shot over multiple days? Or would our audience be okay with just short, kind of more vlog style, hey, this is what we're doing? And they're not very polished, they're not very long. And the answer was overwhelmingly people would prefer the latter. They would prefer the shorter, more vlog style, not fancy. So that's what this is. Basically, I've given you the update. I'm gonna go around and talk about like all the stuff we have to do before winter comes and just kind of show some new additions to our farm. I'm not actually gonna do any of those things today, but I'm just gonna show you. And that'll be it. And then I will have a short, easy video that I can actually edit and upload to YouTube so you guys can see it. So here we go. Here goes nothing. We had our first big frost about 5 days ago now, and it decimated everything, which is okay because I pretty much knew I'd gotten what little I could have gotten. The garden was kind of a bust this year. I didn't really know what I was doing. The good news is I did discover I can grow things. Things were green and growing. Stuff I started from seed and starts that I bought. So I did learn a lot that I can apply to next year's growing season. So that's really exciting. But we did get a small harvest of like jalapenos, handful of cherry tomatoes, a couple squashes, a couple bell peppers, some onions. Learned a lot of lessons. The biggest one being the chickens will destroy your garden if you don't keep them out. So the plan is next spring, hello kitty. The plan is next spring, we're gonna fence all this off. And when I say fence off, I'm turning this thing into frickin' Fort Knox. And I'm gonna have garden beds just in the ground. These raised beds were really nice. One thing I realized is raised beds are really nice, but to actually grow a decent amount of food, you need to have a lot of space. So I need bigger beds. Oh, I forgot about this mint. I totally forgot about this mint plant. It might still be salvageable because I really liked this mint. Huh. Anyways, so not everything was a flop. I'm in the greenhouse right now. Even though we've had a frost, everything in here was totally fine. So I'll keep things in here as long as I can until it gets too cold. I have a lot of perennials in here that I gotta figure out what to do with. Like, I have a bunch of roses that I need to repot and then find a way to kind of insulate them for the summer because they're gonna stay here in the greenhouse all winter, maybe even next year. Same with like, I have a bunch of lavender plants. Same thing, I need those to just overwinter here in the greenhouse. But there's some vegetables that are just kind of like finishing out, like I I've got habanero peppers. I don't know if you can see it right here. Some of them are ready to go, but some of them are still ripening. And I've got some random tomatoes that I just left in here. It's just so they could ripen. Like, this is an Amish paste. My tomato crop was pretty pathetic this year, not gonna lie, you guys. It's like the one thing I wanted to grow, but I learned a lot about what to do next year. Yeah, that's the update in here. I never thought of myself as a gardener. I always, you know, liked animals, so that's what I always wanted on a farm. But I've really enjoyed the growing aspect of it, and hopefully next year we'll have a better crop. Did watch us many videos ago build and finish this chicken coop, and it is done, but the update here is all our chickens are laying. We lost 4 birds. We lost a guinea and a black sex-link hen mysteriously overnight. I mean, different times, but just poof, gone. We lost 1 hen to a horrific death. I'm like laughing. It was bad. I actually kind of like shrieked a little bit. In a nutshell, she was egg bound, and then she strained so hard to push the eggs out, she pushed her intestines out. It was pretty insane, not gonna lie. I didn't even think that could happen. I didn't even know that could happen. That was one of the more gruesome things I think I've ever seen in my life. So I'm already planning my chicks that I want to get in the spring, because I'd like to have just a couple more chickens. So that means in the spring I can get more black copper marins, but the chicken coop's working great. I don't even want to go in there because it's so, like, the flies are so bad. Like, it is middle of October. We should not have flies still, but we do. Getting about 5 to 6 eggs a day, which is more than what we need, but it is really nice to just have that many. So speaking of chickens, I don't know if, I hope this mic's picking this up. I don't know if you can see them, but there are more chickens behind me. This is our second batch of meat chickens that we're actually going to process probably in the next few weeks. So these, the first meat chickens we did were Cornish cross, CC's jumbo broilers, whatever you want to call them. The irony is the video you probably watched before this one was us butchering chickens, and now in like the next video we're gonna butcher chickens again. It's just because there's been such a long time frame between that video getting shot and edited to me hopefully getting back into editing things. Anyways, so those first chickens were Cornish cross. These chickens are actually a Cornish cross hybrid. So these chickens are sold by Meyer Hatchery, and they're called a Pioneer broiler. And they're basically a mix of like naked neck chicken, Cornish cross, and one other type of breed. I don't know what it is. It might be a Freedom Ranger. We've got 25. We've got 24. We had 25. 1 died, but to make it this far and still have everybody's pretty good. By comparison, our Cornish cross, we started with 15. I think we lost like 5. So the white ones are roosters, and the brown ones are hens, which is kind of nice, easy to tell. We started them in our shop we got them in early August, I want to say. And the hatchery recommends about 10 weeks processing. But the nice thing about these is they don't grow as fast and as crazy as Cornish cross do. So you can let them go a little bit longer if they're just not big enough yet. And actually, these brown ones will lay eggs if you wanted to keep them and then hatch out your own. We don't want to do that. But we're going to process the white ones, which are roosters, probably next week, at least the biggest ones. And then the smaller ones, we'll give them another week or so. And then the hens, I don't know, maybe give them another 2 weeks, just kind of see. It'll be very interesting to see if the meat is good, because while we didn't like raising Cornish cross, the meat was delicious, and it was some of the best chicken I've ever had in my life. These birds just seem to be a lot healthier, and their quality of life just seems better. Like, they free range, they're out and around. They're getting pretty big now, so they do spend a lot of the day laying down. But if the meat turns out good, I think we're going to go with these again. We might try the Freedom Rangers next year too, because that seems to be a pretty popular breed among homesteaders, but they sell out really quick. They're really hard to get. I think we started free ranging at 5 to 6 weeks, and it's been great. Not having to feed them as much because they're just eating bugs. They get along with the other chickens. It just, I don't know. I feel better knowing that our meat chickens at least got to touch grass. So anyways, we will film and process and document this as well, so that we're gonna have 2 like back-to-back chicken butchering videos, but that's okay. I feel like a Nat Geo documentary filmmaker right now. One thing I forgot to mention with these chickens is this was our first experience having chicks shipped to us, and I'd heard so many horror stories that I was really nervous about it. I was terrified. But the process was great. I was notified as soon as they shipped. So they shipped out at like midnight. So they must have hatched that day, like on Monday. I had them by Wednesday. It worked out really good, and I just went to the local post office, picked them up. We didn't have a heat wave when I ordered them, and I think that makes a big deal. Oh, and the other thing is these birds came from a hatchery in California, which I thought was kind of weird because Meyer Hatchery is based in Ohio, so I'm assuming the hatchery was just another contract hatchery that they work with. But it kind of worked out in our favor since it was shorter distance to go from California to North Idaho than North Idaho to Ohio. I know I heard so many horror stories of birds not making it, getting sent to the wrong places, all showing up dead, so I was really worried about that, but it didn't happen. This guy decides he loves us and then he disappears for like 3 days at a time. So, do you have another family somewhere, mister? This garden bed was kind of my experiment. I just threw a bunch of flower seeds in and some random vegetables. The vegetables I put in way too late. The flowers I didn't really think through because I had these really tall plants that basically took all the sun. Still don't know what these are. The frost destroyed them. I think what I'm gonna do is plant garlic in this bed. There goes Rex. Plant garlic in this bed, and then it'll just be all garlic, because I'm trying to think about like what vegetables do I actually want to grow that we actually eat, and we eat a lot of garlic. So planted some peonies. So I need to cut these down. These are from my mom's garden at her house. So she graciously gave me a few starts. And so far, I mean, I think they've done okay. I had to put these fences up, and honestly, these fences might have to stay around them forever because the chickens will destroy them. And they definitely tried. You can see like all the dirt they've disturbed around it. So another really big update is I got another horse. Good girl. This is Velvet. Hi, sissy. Hi, sissy. Oh, we might have fireworks in a minute. Velvet is a 3-year-old mix. I was told she is a quarter horse Lipizzaner Criollo mix. I have been wanting another horse for a while. Cassidy here, I've had him for forever, it feels like. And he's just old. He is probably in his mid-20s at this point, and he has a disease called Cushing's. Google it if you don't know what it is. But it affects his metabolism, and it's really hard for him to put on weight, and it's also, he's lost all his muscle mass, so he's a lot weaker than he used to be. He doesn't have the endurance that he used to have. So I think his, solid riding days are behind him at this point. So the kindest thing I can do is just let him be a pasture puff. I got Velvet so I could ride her. So Velvet's what you call green. She is broke for me to ride. She doesn't have a lot of experience. So the phrase we like to use in the horse world is she needs miles. She needs miles and she needs wet blankets. And that means like she needs to be ridden so much that she sweats, so the saddle blanket is wet. I've really enjoyed riding her. It's cool to have a horse so young with so much energy that I know I can ask a lot of her. If you follow us on Instagram, there's a lot more Velvet content on there, because the Instagram is like half North Idaho Nomads, half my personal Instagram, because we still can't get into the main Instagram, FYI. I don't really have a sheep update. They're still here. We probably won't be butchering the rams until November, December, January at the earliest. They'll be 1 year old in February. We're kind of hoping at least this one might be pregnant. Don't know, but for sure this one will go to butcher. Hey buddy, this little black-nosed one. And then we'd like to keep this guy over here on the end. Hopefully you can see him. The problem is he's kind of dumb, not gonna lie. And I'm not really 100% sure if he's been able to successfully mate with any of the ewes. This little guy for sure is humping them all day long. He's got it. But we wanted to keep the other one. We only want to keep one ram. So I don't know, we might process one ram, make sure the big guy's got everything figured out. And then this little guy's so young, he won't be ready to go till next spring. Shit. My neighbor's coming. I don't want them to see me video editing because it's really awkward. So, okay, that was like the update, all the cool new fun things on the farm. Now I want to get into like the nuts and bolts. It is mid-October right now, and winter is coming whether we want it to or not. So what do we have to do to get prepared for winter around here? Well, one of the biggest things is hay for all the animals that eat hay. So that's why my trailer's moved here. Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. There is just under a ton of first cutting alfalfa in this trailer that is for the sheep. Now, from time to time, the horses run out of hay, so I feed the horses this alfalfa, but I really don't want to feed them this alfalfa because it is like giving little kids king-size candy bars. They get so hopped up on all the sugar. I don't want to do it, but it's in a pinch, we'll feed it to the horses if their big feeder runs out. The sheep go through anywhere between 200 to 300 pounds of hay a month, give or take. A ton of hay is about 2,000 pounds. So this should get us through October, November, December, January, February. This should get us to February. Ugh, that does not seem like enough. So we've parked this here for the winter. We're feeding out of it. Now for these horses behind me, when it was just Cassidy and Jack, we fed them, we just used round bales, anywhere from 500 to 800 pounds. Since Miss Sister Velvet has joined us, I don't know what has happened, but these horses eat so much more than they used to. Like these 3 numbskulls just went through 500 pounds in less than 2 weeks. That's not normal. So we're gonna switch how we feed. And instead of putting the round bale in, we're gonna switch, I think, to big square bales, which are about 1,100 pounds a piece. And then I'm just gonna manually move the big flakes into the feeder. I try to spend around no more than $250 a ton in my mind. Some people spend a lot more, some people spend a lot less. I think anything over that's overpriced and I don't wanna pay that. In a perfect world, I try to find under $200 a ton. But in this day and age with the farms disappearing, we don't have as many hay farmers as we used to. You kind of have to really shop around. And then last, but definitely not least, the biggest thing we have to do before winter comes is get this pile of wood and the other pile of wood on the other side of the house that I did not show you, chopped, split, stacked, and ready for winter burning. We have 2 heat sources in our house. One of them is electric and the other is wood. I hate the electric. It does not heat up the house. I feel like it's really expensive. And I don't prefer it. I definitely prefer wood heat. We have a monster-sized Lopi stove inside, but it's a lot of work. So last weekend, we went with some friends to the National Forest. We had a firewood cutting permit, and we got about 2 cords of wood out, which was a ton of work, but I'm glad it's done. So this is about a little under, about 2 cords-ish here. And we've got a bunch of trees, like down trees that we got to buck up and cut on the other side of the house. So overall, we estimate that we go through about 3.5 cords of wood a winter. So we've got enough wood, we just gotta chop it. But we have a wood splitter, thank God. We wouldn't do this if we didn't have a wood splitter. So this is probably the biggest thing we have to get done before winter comes. So I guess that's it. Like I said, I'm not actually gonna show you any of this stuff because I actually want this video to get edited and uploaded before next year. So that's basically just like the update, what's been happening around here and what we need to do before winter comes. And like I said, it's just me today because Luke is still at work. So that's been an adjustment. I think it's been kind of hard on both of us at times, just the change in schedules, but we're getting used to it. We're figuring out how to make it work. So with that change in schedule, what better time to start this more vlog style videos. So let me know what you think, if you liked this, if you didn't like this. At this point, I just want to get more videos out. our channel's kind of stagnated a little bit, and we have no one to blame for but ourselves. So I guess that's it. Like I said, I'm not actually going to show you any of this stuff because I actually want this video to get edited and uploaded before next year. So that's basically just like the update, what's been happening around here and what we need to do before winter comes. And like I said, it's just me today because Luke is still at work. So that's been an adjustment. I think it's been kind of hard on both of us at times, just the change in schedules, but we're getting used to it. We're figuring out how to make it work. So with that change in schedule, what better time to start this more vlog style videos? So let me know what you think. If you liked this, if you didn't like this. At this point, I just want to get more videos out. Our channel's kind of stagnated a little bit and we have no one to blame for but ourselves. But I would like to get back into the habit, just shooting more and sharing our lives with you, because even though we weren't editing videos and posting videos the last few months, like life still happened around here. Like we still had animals to feed and projects to work on, just working on a kind of different pace than we used to. Stuff still happens. Like I said, I think at this point we can definitely call ourselves a farm with everything. Oh, really quick, fun little surprise. For those who are still watching, yes, we still have the cabin homestead south of us. We just haven't been there. We just haven't had time. When we lived in town, the cabin was about an hour south. We now live about 45 minutes further north than that old house. So we're looking at basically a 2-hour drive to get to the cabin. And we just have so many projects to do here. We don't have time to go and do projects down there. So I don't know what we're gonna do with it, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. We still have it. We just don't really go, which is a bummer. I'm not that sad though, because we just have so much stuff to do here that I want to do here. Anyways, that's it. Let me know what you think of this video format. If you like it, you want to see more of it. And I think that's going to do it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.